ladies and gentlemen, I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living here.
Good morning, Peggy Burton.
And I'm Jim Fuller.
How are you guys?
Good, good.
How you eating, Peggy?
How am I eating?
Mm-hmm. You eating good?
Too much. Yeah,
Are you?
I always eat good.
You eat good?
Do you?
You watch pretty much what you eat, don't you? Don't you pay a lot
I
close attention?
I look at everything that goes in my mouth. I am careful to a degree, but I'm not careful enough.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then, either whether you're supposed to or not, you probably eat something you shouldn't eat.
Oh yeah. I'm sure I do.
I do too.
How about you, Jim?
Yeah, I always eat good too.
Well,
Jim watches. He watches close.
Yeah, it's been so long now that I've sort of become accustomed to eating.
When that suit gets
local.
tight, you just have to lighten up, right?
Yeah, because I've always said life is not fair. You can spend 6 months losing 20 pounds, and then you can gain 8 or 9 of that back in a week.
Exactly. You can wake up the next morning.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
Like after the 4th of July, I woke up the next morning thinking, will I zip these pants?
and yeah, when I was doing heart rehab, and on the treadmill a lot, I'd stay on the treadmill for an hour. I'd put it as high as it'd go and put it about 6 miles an hour.
Whoa, that's a lot. I don't know that I could do that.
And an hour, I'd stay on it an hour. I'd be soaking wet, thinking, man, look what I've done. And then you look at how many calories you burned.
17.
It's one Snickers bar. You work for an hour
one
for
Snickers
one
bar
Snickers
and it's
bar.
all over. Yeah, you can't go by that kind of thing. You just can't eat the Snickers bar.
Well, the reason I brought that up is I think we all need to try to watch what we do and what we eat. But if you and it's just like working out. My problem with working out's always been I push myself too hard, and it gets to where it's not fun, and so you quit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever fun.
And eating's the same thing. You need to reward yourself every night. If you want a piece of pie, eat a piece of pie. Don't eat one every day.
Don't eat half of the pie.
Don't eat half of it.
Yeah.
Don't eat it every day. But if you want a hamburger,
No, I really think you are what you eat. You're how much you rest. There's several things that
rest has a whole lot to do with it.
Spiritual attitude as far as meditation and all that. To keep from going off the edge.
Focus. Fitness. Food.
Freedom.
Friends. And faith.
And freedom. Okay.
And if you pay attention to all those things, like that old boy said with the Daniel plan, he said, you can't eat too much good food. You can eat good food all you want. You can stuff it in your mouth till you can't have any more, and it won't hurt you. But it can't have been touched by man, other than to pick it out of the field.
Yeah,
That's
can't
true.
be in a bag or a can or whatever because it's got stuff in it.
Right.
To make it look pretty, to make it last longer.
The reason a lot of people are overweight is the hormones and stuff that's stuck in processed food, and that worries me. We need to take care of that.
Philip, this is for you. I was watching the Today Show a little bit ago, and Philip eats quinoa and tofu and all this stuff.
Skinny as a rail.
There is a mushroom jerky now, a no meat jerky. They're making it out of mushrooms.
Boring.
Nah, I like mushrooms, but I don't think a mushroom jerky would be that good.
The statute of limitations has run out on this by now, I think.
Yeah.
For my friend John, it's been several years. but what John just said, John had open heart surgery several years ago.
Yeah.
And John went through the rehab and did all this faithfully, and he couldn't drive for a while, and people were pitching in and helping drive John around.
Oh, yeah.
Well, finally, John got back. He was ready to go. And we were doing Tennessee Traveler that night, and he's ready to get back in the game. And John can drive himself now.
Yeah.
Nobody's having to supervise him.
Right.
John come in here with the biggest, greasiest hamburger I have ever seen in my life.
Couldn't wait.
Yeah. And he said, that's just what I wanted tonight.
Yeah.
And, I'm having it.
Yeah, I mean, and I do that now. I don't eat a hamburger very often, but when I want one,
Yeah.
I mean, I might not eat one or two a month, maybe, but you know, I think sometimes when you really, really want something real bad, it's because your body's craving something. And a lot of times you'll eat a meal and you'll think, oh my gosh, and it won't be anything special, but you'll eat it and you go, that was wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it's because your body was looking for what you just put in.
Oh,
And
really?
I think that, yeah, I mean, if you hadn't had enough, you know, we need all of it. You need starch, you need carbs, you need all of it to function properly.
I eat 5 or 6 times a day, don't you?
Well, that's good.
That's what I do.
That's good. That's good to do.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm hungry right now. Would you excuse me?
But that's a good thing to do is eat small
little-
stuff.
yeah.
You know, and just eat 4 or 5 times a day is really better for you
Yeah, what
than stuffing yourself.
People that think that if they just eat one meal a day are doing themselves a favor, but they're not.
No.
It's not good. It's not
My
healthy.
father-in-law, when he was alive, did that though. He only ate one meal a day.
And he was probably fine if he did
Yeah,
that all the time.
but he would go. I think it was Western Sizzler or somewhere. They had a buffet, and he lived alone, and he only ate one meal a day.
But he'd get a good
he'd eat everything he wanted that one meal. And
Well, that's okay,
And of course,
I
he liked
guess.
to walk, and so
Yeah.
between the combination, he never-
Metabolism
yeah,
is a
right.
big part of it too.
Oh, it's
Some
huge.
people have
Yeah.
It's
a
huge.
better metabolism than others.
And you know, we the life Fuller and I lived, and Fran working at South Jackson when she was working there. You know, you become a late night person.
Oh, yeah.
And that's bad for
And
health.
so all of a sudden you're eating your night meal at 10, and then going to bed, and that's really not good for you.
Yeah, and sometimes it'd even be later than that.
Yeah.
And Paul Peterson was a great cook when we were at the Legion.
Yeah, he was.
And I've come in at 2 o'clock in the morning with that big slab of prime rib.
And it looks
Baked
so good.
potato,
Yeah.
Yeah, and baked potato and all that, and sit there and eat that and watch a little TV when you get home. In the
I went
middle
on
of
a
the night.
diet one time, and my only rule was no food after 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that's
So
a good
I would just
rule.
load up in the morning, and if I went out to eat and there was this wonderful food, I would take it in a box home and I'd have it for breakfast. And honestly, I lost
Yeah.
weight that way.
Yeah.
But late night eating is not good for you.
No.
I don't think. Anyway.
Well, what
Enough
happens?
that.
What happens if you stuff yourself too? Is your body goes, okay, this is all I'm gonna get for a while, so it stores everything instead of letting it burn off. And when you eat small meals, like you're talking about, small
Yeah.
things 3 or 4 times a day, it knows it's gonna get something else in a little while, and it'll go ahead and process it. But you know, your body's pretty smart about taking care of itself or feeding itself.
Yeah. Anyway,
But it
everybody needs
stores
to
it
be
in fat.
all things in moderation.
That's right.
1 glass of wine instead of 6, and stuff like that.
Instead
I've
of 6.
always said, you know, a good martini is wonderful. When a frozen glass, you take the vermouth and you pour it in that frozen glass and swish it around, pour it out, put your gin or vodka out of the freezer in there, and then your lime, then your onions or olives or whatever. 1 martini is incredible. 2 martinis is outstanding. 3 martinis
You're
is
over
too
the hill.
many.
It's too many.
Yeah.
Because those things,
I have a martini story. When I first got married, and my husband was overseas, and he was older than me, so there was this captain, and we were at his house, and they were having this big party. Well, I didn't know one drink from the other, you know what I mean? And somebody said, "What do you want?" And the only thing that came to my head was, I'd seen this on a movie, a martini. Well, they fixed me a martini, and I took a sip, and it almost knocked me off the seat.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know,
tough.
I didn't know what to
It's
expect.
tough.
So that was not a great
Yeah, that's
experience,
not
but it was okay.
that's not a good drink for a beginner.
I never tasted one. I just heard the word, and I thought, well, that sounds easy.
Well, it looks elegant in a way too. That tall stem glass with
Yeah.
the V bowl or whatever
Yeah,
you call
you're
that.
right.
But hey, the 4th of July celebration here in Tullahoma
Was fabulous.
absolutely outstanding. Congratulations to the city and everybody that was involved in that. I left here a couple of times during the day and then in the evening. There was not one blade of grass that I passed anywhere that didn't have a car, a person, or a lawn chair on it.
Isn't that fabulous?
The
That's
airport, the hospital grounds, everything, all of this out here close to us was just covered. Jackson Street, there was not an empty parking. There wasn't a parking space anywhere.
And as hot as it was, that's pretty
and people
amazing.
were walking up and down the road. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. I bet there were several. It looked like there were several 100,000 people. I swear, I've never seen anything like it.
That's
It
wonderful.
was phenomenal.
That's wonderful.
So congratulations
To the
to
city.
everybody
Yeah.
involved in that.
Great job.
Good job.
Yeah.
Couple of pearls of wisdom
You got them written
today.
down.
Yeah, I got them written down. Life is full of things that crack, break, and fall apart. Baling wire is obsolete. So if you can't fix it with duct tape, you hadn't used enough duct tape.
Okay.
Get more duct tape. Judgment can be influenced by ideology, bad information, jealousy, self-importance, and anger. It is wise to judge yourself before you deliver a verdict.
That's good. That one's good.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
What did you not think the first one was good? You don't.
Oh, no, I like the
You don't
second one
understand
better.
about duct tape,
I don't-
do you?
Duct tape didn't do anything for me.
Okay.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And if 2 strips doesn't work, put 4 on there and it'll work.
I know a few people I'd like to put duct tape over their mouth.
Yeah, that works sometime too. Hey, it's time for us to move forward. We're going to have a great show today. Pay attention to our sponsors during this commercial break, and we'll be right back.
5 dealerships, 7 car brands, 1 big clearance sale.
Russell Barnett must make room for incoming summer shipments.
Save hundreds,
Even thousands.
from original list on all new and over 800 pre-owned vehicles. Every vehicle is marked down for immediate clearance.
No reasonable offer refused.
All credit applications will be accepted for immediate delivery.
Don't miss the big spring clearance sales event going on right now at the Russell Barnett dealerships, both Tullahoma and Winchester. And my question is, why buy anywhere else?
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do,
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and this is our segment we refer to as Police Pointers, and joining us today is Captain George Marsh from the Tullahoma Police Department. And your Chief Blackwell declined that job as the full-time job as city administrator, so I assume he's going to be coming back to the police department at some point. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So have you talked with him? Do you know how long that'll be before he comes back?
We're anticipating at least a month.
As they transition to another city administrator.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So, for some reason or other, I was talking to George. I thought he would, before he took over this job, that he was on night shift, and I'm thinking this is going to be terrible when he has to adjust for that. But you went through that several years ago.
Several years back.
Yeah, so it won't be a big adjustment for you at all. All right, we're going to talk today, I think, about the general makeup of the police department and how all that works.
Yes, sir. We're made up of 3 divisions. The largest division is my division, which I command, the patrol division. We have 28 officers, including myself, on that division. The investigative division is led by Lieutenant Jason Farrell. He has 5 underneath him there in that division, and you have Lieutenant Phil Henderson, who's over the services division, which he controls the public service officers, several other technical stuff within the department, and school crossing guards. He has a lot under his hat also when he does that. Under our patrol division, we have 3 sergeants, which work 3 shifts. They each have a corporal on their shift. They work an 8-hour shift, 5 days a week. So when the sergeant is not there, the corporals are in charge.
I see.
The shifts we run are from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., and 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. In this, we have several instructors. Officers have to have 40 hours a year of in-service work, which we generally give at the very least, you're going to get around 54, 60 hours a year from our department as far as what you have to get in.
That's like continuing education or something?
Well, what it is, the post Peace Officers Standard Training Commission, they require us to have at least 40 hours, and there's certain criteria within that 40 hours. Officers have to have certain criteria. Emergency vehicle operations, which is basically from the Vanessa K. Free Act, how to operate that motor vehicle under extreme conditions, under pursuit conditions, fast driving, defensive driving, and then you have to have the child abuse section, mental illness. You have to have firearms. There's several other that you know, and recently it's fair and just policing that we have to have in there now. So it's just a lot of different things to have. We have in our department we have firearms instructors, domestic violence instructors. We have just added a taser instructor, a chemical weapons instructor. We have defense instructors. And we have 2 of those now, and so we're getting ready basically to make our department a self-sufficient training department. Whereas we can have all the instructors we need to train ourselves. We can want to invite other people around to come in and join us in our training and provide some training also for us, bring their instructors in to help.
Are you talking about just ordinary citizens? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, other police departments around,
okay.
To build a rapport there with these other departments and get to know each other very well and try to see what they're doing. You know, what kind of differences are they making? Is that something that we want to look at? And vice versa. You know, we like to spread our way out there too.
And when you initially get to be a police officer, you have to go through some school, don't you?
You have to go through now a 12-week police academy. We have an officer just went in Sunday for a 12-week police academy. I'm sure his first night he hadn't slept none until Monday afternoon. They go in on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
And they keep them up basically all night, at least till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, get them back up at 5, if they even get to go to sleep at that point. And then just kind of starts a routine to whereas they're instilling that discipline that you need. They're putting that stress level in there to see how if you're going to be able to make that through that system.
It sounds to me like being a police officer is way more complicated today than it might have been 25 years ago or 30 years ago, because situations exist now that probably didn't exist then. And you guys you mentioned domestic violence, for instance, is one of those things. And you got to deal with that, and I guess it helps if you've had some training relative to that kind of thing.
Oh yes, it's very important to have that training. You not only got to know how to deal with these folks and learn different techniques of how to deal, but you got to know the laws on it. I always tell the new officers that are coming in to be able to do this job, you got to do this in 10 seconds. What it takes most attorneys several years to learn.
Right.
But you got to make that decision in 10 seconds. And sometimes there's not going to be help for you to make that decision. You got to make it now. And it's got to be the best decision that can be made.
Right. That's got to be a scary situation for an officer if he's by himself and being confronted by someone who wants to do harm to you, and you got to make that decision.
Right.
My friends can't get to me, and I got to deal with this.
Right. You know, and one thing I look at it is if the people that you love the most are going to be your family. We would hope so anyway. Now, if you're going to hurt someone you love the most, you don't know me, what are you going to do to me?
Yeah.
What am I going to do to help you? But our job is not to worry about that. Our job is to take care of everyone there. Everyone, not just the victim, but we have a responsibility to that suspect too.
Right. Also, you talked about, and I don't guess you think about this, but you guys get some training in how to operate these police cars, do you not?
Yes, we do.
And that's. Do they actually physically teach you how to drive under certain circumstances?
Yes, sir, they do. You have to complete the police academy. First of all, you have to go through an EVOC course, which is set up. You have to do a lot of different driving techniques. One of the techniques is not only is it fast driving, but you got to go through offset alleys, which is a zigzag kind of motion, pulling out of parking, parallel parking quickly, leaving an asphalt road onto gravel and then coming back up onto the asphalt road. And all these different, and skid pan driving, going onto a skid pan and trying to control a vehicle while you're sliding.
Yeah. I'd say that if you're able to do that, you're probably a much better driver than the average guy out here on the road.
We should be.
Yeah.
We should be. Most of our time is spent on the roads out here.
Yeah. And do you find that a little scary when you're out there and having to run down the streets at 60, 70 miles an hour?
Not only is it scary, it's stressful.
Yeah.
It will make you, there have been times, 20 some odd years now, there's been times I've actually gotten weak from it after it's over. I guess adrenaline rush through it. Because there are stuff that could have happened that didn't happen that you realize after it's done.
Right. Have you been involved in your career, a lot of chases where you're having to pursue?
In the early career, yes, sir.
Right.
In the early career, there was a lot. Fortunately, now there's not that many. When we have a pursuit here, we have afterwards we have a review, and the senior officers sit down and myself sit down and we go through the videos of these pursuits and see what we could have done differently, if anything, or if we were within the law and within our policies and procedures. And we respond to that and correct it and adjust training as we need to.
So your department, the Tullahoma Police Department, probably all of them, but they've got certain rules that you're in place, which tells you when you would pursue somebody and would not, or that sort of thing.
General rule of thumb: is it worth it?
Yeah.
Is it worth what could happen?
Common
to get
sense.
This person? Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so, are you? One of the supervisors is always there. So if the police officer that's on the street, if he's not sure, he can call and.
Right. Well, and not only that, the supervisor should have immediate contact with this officer, and the officer should have immediate contact back with the supervisor. They should be continuously talking with one another, and at any time, either one of those, the officer that started the pursuit or the supervisor, can end that pursuit at any time, and there's no repercussions for either one to end the pursuit. Okay.
Could you give me an example of what would be a situation where you'd think that you did have to pursue them?
A very dangerous, violent person.
I see.
Very dangerous, violent person. We don't want to we're not going to chase, as you say, I say pursue, as you say chase. We're not going to do that for a property crime that we can get this person for later.
Right.
You know, when there's other avenues of apprehension other than pursuing someone, we're going to take those other avenues for the safety of our public, right, of the suspect, and of ourselves.
You know, that makes sense, George, because when I was a young man, just started driving, we used to think it was cool to try to outrun the state troopers around here. And little did we know they would just get our license number. And
then show up at the house later?
They showed up at the house. It was a total waste. But anyway, fortunately, we learned better from that. George, thank you so much for coming by today. Always interesting to learn more about our police department. Folks, we'll be right back in just a moment, right after these messages.
When I was growing up in Coffee County, I saw firsthand the need for good paying jobs. When I was county mayor, working with other dedicated Coffee Countyans, we recruited $240.6 million in industry investment in Coffee County. 2,968 new good paying jobs to Coffee County. I'm David Pennington, candidate for Coffee County Mayor, and I ask you to join me and help make Coffee County an even better place to live and work.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home, our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello everyone, John Rickman here. And this is Pat Welch. And John, we're here under probationary status from after segment 88. We're now at 89. We have cleared management to continue on. Hopefully we'll get the green light from here to 100.
We're not going to mention snakes for a while.
No, I hope not.
Back in the 50s, late 50s, I guess, early 60s, but I believe it was late 50s, Robert Mitchum had a movie they call Thunder Road. He was a young man who drove a load of whiskey to the place he was carrying it for his daddy. His daddy made the whiskey, and he was the driver in a souped-up car. And I think probably a lot of kids back that time had souped-up cars and had it weighted down in the back, just like Robert Mitchum might have had back that time. But,
where was the location supposed to be?
North Carolina and East Tennessee. The song.
Okay.
What is amazing to me, Robert Mitchum wrote this song. Now, I might not sing it just right because there's a lot of words, goes pretty quick, but I'll try my best. And
well, let me interject something that might be of a little bit of interest. Do you know which county in the United States killed more federal agents during Prohibition than any county?
Franklin County, Virginia.
Bingo. Obviously, I've told you that before.
No, you didn't tell me. I just know.
Okay. Well, then you're a man of great higher learning.
I watched the movie Lawless. Rough movie, but it was in Franklin County. More whiskey was made illegally.
It was incredible. I have been to Franklin County, Virginia. Okay. And it is in the very, very rural, and there's more gravel roads by far than there are paved roads. Yeah. And there are hairpin turns and everywhere. It'd be a great place for somebody to hide his steel. Do you know the county seat of Franklin County, Virginia?
No.
Rocky Mount.
Oh, North Carolina?
Rocky Mount, Virginia.
Oh,
it's the county seat.
Wrong state. My wife's father was an alcoholic. He learned to be an alcoholic drinking from his daddy's field in Livingston, Tennessee. From Livingston. And he liked the taste of alcohol, and his daddy made the whiskey, and he became an alcoholic and broke up that marriage. My wife's mother and father.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, but this little song about Thunder Road. Let me tell the story. I can tell it all about the mountain boy who sold red illegal alcohol. His daddy made the whiskey, the son he ran the load, and when his engine roared, they called the highway Thunder Road, and there was thunder, thunder, oh, Thunder Road. Thunder was his engine, and white lightning was his load, and there was moonshine, moonshine, when swore they'd get him, but the devil got him first. In the month of April 1954, the federal man sent word, you'd better make your run no more. They sent 300 agents covering up the state. Whichever road he took, they'd get him sure as fate. Son, his daddy told him, make this run your last. Your tank is filled with 100 proof. You're all tuned up and gassed. Now don't take any chances. If you can't get through, I'd rather have you back again than all that Mountain Dew. And there was thunder, thunder off the Thunder Road. Thunder was his engine and white lightning was his load. And there was moonshine, moonshine quenched the devil's thirst. The law they swore they'd get him, but the devil got him first. Rolling out of Asheville, revving up his mill, he shot the gap at Cumberland and screamed down Maynard Hill. G-men on his taillights, roadblocks up ahead. The mountain boy took roads that even angels fear to tread. Then outside of Knoxville, out on Kingston Pike, just outside of Bearden, he made his final strike. He left the road at 90, that's all there is to say. The devil got the whiskey and the mountain boy the day. And there was thunder, thunder of Thunder Road. Thunder was his engine and white lightning was his load. And there was moonshine, moonshine to quench the devil's thirst. The law they swore they'd get him, but the devil got him first.
That was an absolute classic, John. And
Robert Mitchum would be proud, wouldn't he?
Recent employment and my travels in East Tennessee, I've been in several of those spots, Maynardville, Kingston Pike. Yeah. I can promise you one thing, though, there's a vast difference between Maynardville and Kingston Pike and Knoxville today. One of them is a center of retail, and the other is extremely rural.
Well, that song took a little longer than some others, so we better get right to the subject matter.
Any segue today, John?
That was not a good segue because this man, he was good as gold. He was a Tullahoma native. There's nothing about what we sang about that even compares, you might say. We're going to talk today about Bob Couch. Everybody loved Bob. And he has a program on P-Head Productions, just kind of like what we do.
Well, let's set the record straight on that too, John. A lot of people think we came to be the new Bob, wave of Bob Couch and so forth. I can't do that one because there's only one Bob Couch and we've got our own show, and please don't compare us, because if you do, me and you are going to be second fiddle.
And it takes two of us.
That's right.
And Bob could sit there by himself.
Two can't do the job of one.
But Bob, wonderful fella. Show that picture. In Bob's declining years, I was a Rotary program chairman, and we had that man that looked like Abraham Lincoln at our Rotary that day. And Bob was a Rotary member, always a Rotary member, and he was in bad health. And he was homebound at this point.
He would have had close to 50 years perfect attendance too, John.
Yes.
Anytime he was sick or something missed, he'd make it up in another town.
Dr. Jerry Kennedy next to me, and between Dennis Boggs is the fellow who portrays Lincoln, speaks just like him.
He looks so close to Lincoln there that it almost looks like he's photoshopped in, but that's him.
My sister-in-law was a principal at a school over in Lewisburg, and she had him come and speak to her students, and then he went all over Lewisburg talking about Lincoln and his and he'll give the Lincoln, like the Gettysburg Address and things like that. Just and there's Dot on the left over there, and we just that was a great day. That was a day that I'll always remember sitting there with Bob. Now, notice that clothespin on Bob's on robe, that's holding the robe together.
Which he normally wore it on his tie at work, at couches. And
it was notes that he would.
He'd have 4 or 5 stacked in there about call Kodak or call Miss Chrisman, or it was incredible.
In Rotary one day, I had him sign a clothespin, and I auctioned it there at Rotary, and I don't think it bought but maybe $5 or $10. I can't remember. I was sort of disappointed in
that that would have done a whole lot of the polio vaccines in the third world.
But anyway, Bob had that clothespin on, and there was. I'll let you read that, Pat. And his mother, Belle.
Yeah, this is interesting. Which we never did. We just thought he just wore it for a joke, but his mother sent him to school with a clothespin on, and it was supposed to remind him of three things. Now, what
three things could it be?
This is a young man in elementary school whose mother has sent him to school with the three things he needs to always remember, reminded by a clothespin. Number one, don't forget to blow your nose. Number two, pull your socks up. Number three, be nice to your teacher. Now that would be three good things to remember for today.
Now I want to go to that next picture, Philip. If you do those three things, they'll name a highway after you.
Or at least you'd be on the list as a possibility.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah. I took that picture. I got a little cheap camera, but it came out pretty good. But that's Bob Couch Highway. That's down Jackson, looking up North Jackson. And Bob was such a wonderful person. And thank you, Philip, for that picture.
He was so open and so receptive to new people and to guests. And he sold Tullahoma, whether he was in Tullahoma or whether he was in Anchorage or whether he was in Singapore. He loved Tullahoma. And I can remember being at Couch's one time, and there were 2 or 3 people in there, and somebody had just moved in. Now, remember, Bob would have really been busy at Couch's during the expansion of AEDC and tremendous growth in Tullahoma. And there was some question about, I've been in Tullahoma so many years, am I a Tullahoman or am I a native, and they were all having a discussion about how long you had to live here, what you had to do, and that kind of thing, and before somebody would consider you native. And he piped up real quick. He said, listen, as soon as you can learn to spell Tullahoma and pronounce it, you're a native. So he, where some people, if you haven't been here 25 years, or if that's a barrier somebody put up, you're not really a Tullahoman. Bob took you just as soon as you came into town. That's the life he lived.
He was well recognized too at MTSU.
Oh yeah, he was a really active alumnus.
They walked him out on the football field one time, recognizing him for some particular facet of.
He won the Nunley Award.
Nunley Award, and we know Joe Nunley. We've talked about him before.
Right, and his
Nunley Award.
Father had been the principal at Forest and Chapel Hill, and then he was at a really active career at MTSU himself.
Bob's a wonderful guy, and Pat, we could go on and on about Bob Couch, and we love the man, and love Dot and Candy and Fran, and they're great.
Well, what are you ready to close out? Because I've got one tidbit to offer that not many people knew, but back in the 40s and 50s, and he did a little bit in the early 60s, because I saw it one time. He did a comedy act off a diving board with a guy named Gene Boaz, and Bob did a lot of it later on by himself, but he was a really good acrobat, and they'd be on these really high dives on the somebody told me Lake Tullahoma and Avoca. And he had a real old-style swimsuit down about his ankles and stripes on it, and covered all, his arms and so forth.
He'd go,
oh yeah, he'd go up and do all kinds of flips and stuff, and then do belly busters where you think, golly, how can a man survive from that? But he was really a talented, interesting, and a great church person, First Christian, and just a welcoming, accepting person. He was really a neat guy.
He made Tullahoma great.
Oh, he was a great Tullahoma person.
Folks, that's it. We got to quit talking about Bob. We just go on and on about Bob.
And that was segment 89. And we hope, since we've done this segment on management's relative, that we won't have to go through probationary status, but one time we hope we're at number 90 on our own, because we got more stories to tell. Thank you all.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
I'm Gary Cordell, your Coffee County Mayor. 4 years ago, I made a commitment to the citizens of Coffee County that if elected, I would serve our county with honor and integrity. I pledge to work hard, to give 100%, to be effective and efficient in managing your county resources. I want to take this opportunity to assure the citizens of Tullahoma and Coffee County that our county's financial condition is much stronger now than when I came into office 4 years ago. We've had no property tax increase in the last 3 years, and we reduced our county debt by 11%, from about 80 million down to around 71 million. Our operating reserve fund balance has tripled, and we've improved the jail medical system to 24/7 medical care and saved the county around $1 million in the first 2 years. The most important question you must ask yourself when you walk into the voting booth is simply, who's best qualified to lead our county forward at this critical time? I have over 35 years business management and leadership experience to best lead Coffee County. With the experience and education gained in the last 4 years as your mayor, much has been accomplished, but we've only just begun. Coffee County, let's stay on track.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I'm fortunate and happy today to have Ken Herrick on with us, and he is one of the airfoilers that have been flying these wonderful planes around here. How many years has that group been flying?
Coffee Airfoilers got established in 1959. So next year is our 60-year anniversary.
60-year anniversary.
Yep, and we're going to have a big hoop to do for that next year. Oh yeah, we are.
But right before we came on, we've always talked about what happens before we go on the air. Ken's from Chicago, and he was schooling me about hockey because he was a hockey player. So you just learn all kinds of stuff by doing what we do around here.
Oh, you do.
But what's happening? You've got an event this weekend.
This weekend we have our Warbird event, and we call it a Warbird event, but it's a military aircraft event. We'll have people out there with aircraft World War I through current.
Wow.
We're talking biplanes, triplanes, up through Vietnam, World War II era, up through current modern jets that actually fly on turbine engines. Most of them are kerosene-powered turbine engines. And they fly like the real ones, they smell like the real ones, they sound like the real ones.
And operate. Fly like the real ones. Fly like the real ones.
Oh yeah.
How big are some of those planes?
They'll range in average from about that wingspan to 20 foot in wingspan. And most of these
20 feet in wingspan?
Yep. Yeah.
That's a big model aircraft.
You put a small child in it if you wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah. And most of these aircraft, there are no kits or plans for. They have to draw their own plans, cut their own parts. It's all scratch built. And some of these, the scale on them, the detail on them, they've got the rivet heads, they got instrument panels that work, they got pilots that move in them. Last year we had a guy there with a 28% scale Stuka dive bomber from World War II. He will be back this year with it. He's added more detail to it. Last year I looked at it, I thought it was done. He says no. He says it's still not ready for competition.
Wow. And so how many members are in your club?
Right now we are I think we're just shy of 100 members right now, and we'll attract members from all of Tennessee's, the northern part of Alabama, and part of Kentucky. Our members come in. A lot of members join multiple clubs because they do different things.
Yeah, sure.
Now, for this event, we'll attract members from up to 5 hours away to come to this event.
And so, how many people will be out there this
We'll
weekend?
have, last year we had just a little over 50 registered flyers, and they will bring multiple airplanes with. So you'll have 150, 175 airplanes on the ground being displayed. And just about all of them will take to the air during our 3-day event.
And people, do you charge for people to come in, or is it a donation, or can they make a donation?
They can make a donation. The pilots do pay a landing fee. A lot of them camp there for the weekend, which is free. They'll bring their campers and set up, and they stay the whole weekend.
They're talking their stuff, aren't they?
It's intense. And we invite the spectators out to all our events. Even on weekends, we're not having events. It's spectators come. It's free of charge. Come on in, park, bring your lawn chair, bring your blanket, enjoy the day.
Watch people fly.
Watch us fly. If we not have any event that weekend, we do offer free classes or free training and free. We'll take you up. We'll give you the box. You go fly. You will take you up and teach you how to fly an airplane.
That's pretty.
And we have our own trainers. We can teach somebody just to stay in the air in less than 10 minutes with our trainers.
How about landing? Staying in the air is one. Once you get it up in the air, staying in the air seems like the simple part.
Well, that's the simple part. We usually take you what's called 5 mistakes high, so that we have time to correct you or tell you how to correct it, see if you can do it.
Yeah.
Our youngest flyer is 5 years old.
Wow.
And one member of our club is, I think he's 12, and he competes in what's called IMAC, which is international competition of doing scale maneuvers.
Now, is this something I would imagine nationwide or statewide or something?
This is international.
International.
This is international.
I mean, like sort of like weight classes. Are there age classes where people compete? Does this 12-year-old have to compete with you?
In novice class, yes. It's not age, it's how well you do. And as you get better, you move up in classes. So he'll compete in novice class. And
so a 12-year-old could win a national championship?
Oh, yeah, they do. They do.
Because they're quicker and faster than we are. Old guys are. Their reflexes are better.
Their eye-hand coordination is faster.
Is better than
It's faster. In fact, we have competitors from the Tennessee area. In fact, one of the members from our club competing in Europe right now in the drone league racing. Drone racing. They took second, I believe, in Munich, and I believe they just took first in Spain. And
how old is that person?
They're in college, so they're not that old.
Not that old. Yeah.
Not that old. But our club promotes all kind of flying.
Sure.
We promote helicopter flying, rocket flying with the smaller rockets, gliders. If it goes in the air, we want you to be involved in it with us. We don't say, okay, you can't fly helicopter, you can't try drone here because we don't have the area. We do have the area.
Yes.
We have 35 acres out there off the air base that we can use, and we make sure that if you come out to fly, you'll have a chance to fly that day. And we like to see new people out there.
Yeah.
If you come out there to spectate, don't be surprised if one of us walked up to you and say, hey, would you like to try this?
Yeah. And so for you people who don't realize where this is, if you're going to Arnold Center, leaving Tullahoma and going to Arnold Center, once you make the big curve and before you get to the golf course, which is on the right, you're on the right before you get to the golf course.
We have a gate. We have a sign put up there.
Yeah.
If the gate's locked, nobody's there. If the gate's open, come on in.
Okay.
Okay.
So real quick, we got about a minute to go. Give us times on your event.
This weekend, the event is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Most of our people will be showing up around 4 o'clock on Friday to set up their campers, set up the area where they want to be. Some will get there early because they want this spot.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be all from 9 to 4 on Saturday. Sunday, it'll start about 9 o'clock in the morning again. depending on how far people got to drive, depending on when they start leaving. But it'll usually go to about 2 o'clock on Sunday. Saturday is the big day, though, for the big events. And we also have a raffle going on. We do have concessions out there, so you don't have to bring lunch with you if you don't want. We'll have, I believe this one's we're going to have pulled pork and Sloppy Joe sandwiches out there. And we'll have drinks and lots of water.
And we want all of you people out there to realize that you folks have fundraisers and do fundraising and donate money to charities in the area as well.
Yes, we do. We just got done with our cancer one in April, and we've got another one coming up in August for the VAV.
Very good. Ken, thank you so much for coming, and know you're always welcome. And folks, if you haven't been out there and watched what goes on, and you think, oh, that's somebody with a model airplane, that's not what's going on out there. This is professional flying of anything from this little helicopter to a plane that's like you said, a 20-foot wingspan. They're big and they work, and it's exciting. So take your children, and no, I tell you what, be a child yourself and go out and enjoy something that's unique and wonderful happening right here in Tullahoma, Tennessee. We'll be right back after these messages.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Do you have vinyl? You know what vinyl is? It's not what's on your floor. It's not what's on your cushions in your car or at your dinner table. It's a piece of vinyl about this big around that music's played from. Happened a long time ago. A lot of y'all, most of y'all who watch our show know what that means. And a radio. Radio, they played vinyl at the record station, at the radio station, and radio played the vinyl. Guess what? In Tullahoma this weekend for the 4th of July, we had them both together in a band called Vinyl Radio.
Sing it if you know it.
Sketching to the point where I'm no fun anymore. I am sorry. Sometimes it hurts so badly I must cry out loud. I am no sun won't always. I am yours, you are mine, you are what you are. You make it hard. Something inside is telling me that I've got your secret. You still instinct. Here is the lock that allowed turn the key to your heart. And I love you. I am yours, you are mine, you are what you are. You make it hard. You make it hard. You make it hard. You make it just that brown canary, ruby throated sparrow, change my song, don't be long, thrill me to the voices of the angel ring around the moonlight, asking me, said she's so free, how do you catch the sparrow?
time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Maiden. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterware.
Yes, Roosterware is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterware specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterware.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the cock of the walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Thank you, John, for that introduction. Never met old Bob Burns, but I bet he's a real good fella. I remember studying his poetry and English courses in high school. I did a lot of love stories and made you feel real good. Well, it's an old dreary day outside today, but it's nice and warm in here and a lot of good things going on. And we mentioned recently about the back alleys in Tullahoma, and I thought I'd kind of elaborate on a subject that's been with us for a long, long time, and that's the garbage in Tullahoma. You may be hearing some garbage in the next few minutes, but I'd like to tell you about some history about our garbage part of our lives and homes and stores. Before there were landfills, before there was collection, most everybody that lived in a residence that had a back alley, they would burn what was burnable about their refuge or garbage, maybe newspapers or cardboard boxes or whatever, but they'd just burn them, and if they might have had maybe a barbecue pit, they'd burn them there, but most outside burning has been outlawed in recent years. Even the leaf burning, you've got to get a permit for it. But the first landfill that I remember back in the middle 30s, of all places, was right next to Rock Creek on West Lincoln Street, between what is now Life Communications and the creek, and the Atlanta Manufacturing Company was there West Lincoln Street at Rock Creek. And the city would not only bring refuse and garbage there, but so would the citizens bring that would had to take or wanted to take their garbage or whatever, old ice boxes or refrigerators or old tires or whatever. They took them down to the landfill next to Rock Creek on West Lincoln Street and burned them. And for years and years, I don't ever remember, even in wet weather, that there wasn't smoke and burning of the garbage that had been brought there by the citizens of Tullahoma. That was the place to be. And nothing at that time was ever thought about pollution or EPA or that sort of thing. But then time went on and garbage became bigger and more of it, and a lot of different things that would not burn. And the city acquired some land out on the Lynchburg Highway, which is an extension of Wilson Avenue, and built a landfill out there. And old refrigerators or stoves or tires or whatever were taken out there by truck or car or trailer or whatever, and they would have, the city would have a big bulldozer that would dig a big hole in the ground, and they'd fill it up and then cover it up with dirt again. And this went on for a number of years. I don't remember a lot of burning out there, but I know there was some, as I recall, burning of the waste that would burn. And at the present time, all that is leveled out there, and I don't know whether there's any problem with underground methane or whatever happens to all that old garbage after a number of years. There's not many wells out there in that area or springs, so maybe it's, and hopefully it's all safe out there. And one of the most beautiful entrances to Tullahoma is from Lynchburg, with the pretty homes on the edge of Tullahoma out on Wilson Avenue. And then it became filled, and they had to have another place to take the garbage. So it's been in the news quite a bit in the last few months. The landfill just south of the Central High School in Manchester on Highway 55 that was part of the Arnold Center's property out there, and it was used for many years as a landfill. And it was, again, it became filled, and had to find another place for it. And as I understand it now, BFI and the city of Manchester and Tullahoma take their garbage somewhere down in Moore or Bedford County to a landfill there. I have not seen it, but I think it's wonderful that the city fathers have seen fit to establish a recycling program where you can put your newspapers or plastic bottles or jugs or other things by your garbage can, and your area where it's picked up, why the recycling truck comes by and puts different types of waste in the compartments that can be recycled. I think it's wonderful. All this, of course, is the non-hazardous type of waste. The hazardous type, like batteries and cleaning fluid and paint and things of that nature, a couple of times a year they make provision for them to be disposed of at the Manchester Recycling Center. And most recently, the schools, all the schools in Tullahoma, have newspaper recycling bins that will benefit the school programs. And I think that is really a great program. So let me encourage all of you folks that have newspapers and read them, and not to burn them, not to put them in your garbage, but as you go to work or go to the post office or wherever you go, put them in a sack and take them by one of the schools and put them in a recycling bin. It's a wonderful way to keep up with the times and keep your back porch clean, and yet do some real good for the community. Also, down at the city shops they have bins down there, and they are very well marked for cardboard and for newspapers and for plastic bottles, and even have a bin for textiles and cloths and things of that nature that can be recycled. And I went down there one day with some old plastic bottles, and I saw some things flying out of one of those big bins. And I thought, what in the wide world? And somebody had gotten over in the bin and was passing some things they thought they could sell or recycle to one of their buddies that had a pickup truck down there. And it's wonderful that that provision is made for the citizens of Tullahoma so that they can have a place to take their waste. It's a whole lot cleaner community now. And you know, when visitors come into Tullahoma, if they see clean front yards and clean buildings and clean streets, they know that they're in a pretty good community. We thank you for watching, and hope you get rid of all your waste real good. And until then, this is not the end of the story, because there's a whole lot more to come. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked the tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the Paint Works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat, you know? They do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the Paint Works at 1960 North Washington Street, and you see David Ikonen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fixes you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paint Works today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paint Works. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We're going to take you back to some more footage with Vinyl Radio.
Been away, haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? Have you changed your style, and do you think that we've grown up differently? Don't seem the same. Seems you've lost your feel for me. So let's leave it alone, 'cause we can't see eye to eye. There ain't no good guy, there ain't no bad guy. There's only you and me, and we just disagree. Yeah. Feeling good. I'm going back to a place that's far away. How about you? Have you got a place to stay? Why should I care when I'm just trying to get along? We were friends. Now it's the end of our love song. So let's leave it alone, 'cause we can't see eye to eye. There ain't no good guy, there ain't no bad guy. There's only you and me, and we just disagree. I see lips moving, so let's leave it alone, 'cause we can't see eye to eye. There ain't no good guy, there ain't no bad guy. There's only you and me, and we just disagree. Whoa, Little America for you. Well, I tried to make it someday, but I got so damn depressed that I set my sights on Monday, and I got myself undressed. Well, I ain't ready for the altar, but I do agree there's times when a woman sure can be a friend of mine. Well, I keep on thinking about you, Sister Golden Hair Surprise, and I just can't live without you. And
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, Peg, we're back. And
we're back, and I've been doing country.
You have? Or
Yes,
have you gone country?
I've gone country.
Peggy Burton
We've been
gone
rehearsing,
country.
yeah.
From jazz to country.
We've got some great stuff.
Great stuff.
going
That
on,
show
yeah.
is the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
10th, 11th, and 12th of August, and don't miss it.
You're working commercials right now?
I'm working commercials, yeah.
And which is as much fun as the singing. It's as great, and it's an entertaining show. Go to South Jackson Goes Country, August 10th, 11th, or 12th, and you'll have a big time. Thanks for watching today. We're going to end with the finale of the Tullahoma 4th of July fireworks show.